Hello friends, my name is Keisha, and I'm a proud member of the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan. I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. My trafficking began in Canada and crossed into the United States. I was stalked, hunted, and ignored by the very systems that were meant to protect me. This is why, with my father, Dale Richardson, we started the CARES Project, an Indigenous survivor-led movement for humanity. We are dedicated to exposing human trafficking, government corruption, and holding institutions accountable. The judicial branch is broken. It has failed to restrain the evils that have come upon this republic. Whether it's family court failures, weaponization of the judiciary, COVID-era harms, or human trafficking, the courts have allowed these issues to continue unchecked for too long. One of the most powerful tools we're using is the petition for redress of grievances. These are lawful constitutional actions rooted in the founding principles of this country. On May 19, 2026, a formal petition for redress of grievances was submitted to the United States Congress. This petition is demanding that Congress and the President use the powers under Article 4, Section 4 to preserve this Republican form of government by restraining these abuses pending congressional investigation. Through the CARES Project Action Plan, we are mobilizing people across the United States to strengthen this effort. This petition has been created as a template. If you or someone you love have been hurt by these same systemic failures in the courts or by government institutions, your evidence matters. When you come forward, please bring your evidence along with a copy of the petition for redress of grievances. This helps connect your story to this growing constitutional record being placed before Congress. We are asking you to stand with us. Join the CARES Project Action Plan and help us build a precedent that demands accountability and protects the God-given rights of American families. Our united voices will compel Congress to uphold the Constitution and safeguard our liberties. United we stand, one nation under God. I will close with my favorite quote. The greatest want of the world is the want of men. Men who will not be bought or sold. Men who in their inmost souls are true and honest. Men who do not fear to call sin by its right name. Men whose conscience is as true to duty as the needle to the pole. Men who will stand for the right, though the heavens may fall. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CARES Project.
Dale, your volume cut out, bro.
All right, am I back now?
You're back.
Of course, it's just not working today. So we're back again with Sean Tario as I was talking to myself to talk about some of the stuff that he's doing, the need for getting our technology secured and what's going on here in the world. So welcome back to the show. You want to reintroduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, glad to be here again. Dale, thanks for having me. Sean Patrick Tario. I'm 46. I'm a longtime entrepreneur, technologist, conspiracy realist. Been in the fight for about 30 plus years at this point, trying to wake people up and get them to understand what's actually happening in the world. And interesting times we live in, huh? So I run a business now focused on trying to get people to realize that these devices that we carry around in our pockets, like your iPhones and your Google Android devices and the laptops that you use that are running Windows, which is a Microsoft operating system, or your Mac OS, which is an Apple operating system, are controlled and operated and run and managed literally by companies that are on the exact opposite side of the fight that we're in right now. So for us to continue to use these tools is absolute insanity. And we have to reclaim these tools to serve us. And there's lots of different options to do that and capabilities that are available and have been around for a long time. And so all we do is take these tools and make them accessible to everyday people and train people on how to use them. So we're not using the tools of the enemy to try to fight the enemy every single day.
Yes, and I got myself one of the phones that you graciously gave me, and it's actually, being an Apple user, it's taken me a while to retrain my brain to use the because Apple's systems work a certain way, so I have to like learn this again. But it's all right. It's getting used to it, and then that's really it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like driving a new car, like where you go to do the thing. It used to be put the key in the thing and turn the ignition. Now it's a button that's sitting somewhere else. Once you do it a couple times, you're like, okay, I get it. I know what I'm doing now. But for a lot of people, it's just different. It's new, and people fight new things. And so you just have to be open to, if you're a Google Android user, then it's basically Android, and it works and runs just like your existing Android device. Most people don't realize that Android is different from Google Android. They're two totally separate but related things. And so that makes it much, much simpler and easier for people coming from the Google Android world versus, the 70 some odd percent of at least the North American population that is using iPhones these days.
Yeah, and like for me, it's not a problem because I like figuring stuff out, and I'm always figuring something out, whether I want to or not. So it's not an issue, but I guess for some people it might be. But I mean, if you value something, then you're going to use it, right? Because I don't like the government, or I don't like big tech companies stealing everything that I have. So at least I'd like to be able to have something where I can keep things safe.
So let me ask you, just to be direct with you, Dale, because we had a brief conversation before we started this, and that you're
Yes.
still in the process of migrating, right?
Well,
And I can't even tell you how many people I've talked to who understand the threat. We understand that we're living in a surveillance state. We understand that these companies are run by psychopaths that are stealing our data and making money off of our data, that they're feeding it to the intelligence agencies, and they're doing all kinds of stuff with our information to help them further enslave us. We know that they're installing apps like the COVID tracking apps during
yes.
COVID that you didn't install those. They were just automatically installed, and they were tracking your whereabouts. We know from the court cases that they're doing all the things that they say that they're not doing illegally.
Yes.
So we know all this, you know all this, and yet you haven't said, all right, enough is enough. I am done using these things. I'm going to make the switch and fully migrate over no matter what the cost. For me, and I'm truly seeking to understand here what I don't understand. This is no different than if I'm out here talking to you and telling you about how evil big pharma is and how horrible Pfizer is, and then telling you that I'm going to go get my next booster shot in like an hour, so we have to cut this thing short. Like, what am I missing? How is it that trigger hasn't hit? Not just for you, but for a lot of people who are nodding their head, being like, "Yep, I see the problem so clear; it's right in front of my face. I know it. I identify it," and yet you continue down the path of using it. Help
It
me
is.
understand.
It's because I have to separate two things, right? What I'm doing for myself, and then some of the other stuff that I'm doing, because for example, I have a Microsoft business account, and they don't have something equivalent and the ability to switch that to something else right now, because that will take a lot of work that I don't have time for. So because of those things and the integration with that, this is why I keep another phone to deal with that, because I don't have something set up to put that over. That's a more longer term project that I simply just don't have time for. Everything else, yes, but that aspect of some of the work that I'm doing, because it's tied to Microsoft, I can't extricate myself from that right now with
So
the time
I
that.
would let me challenge you on this, Dale,
Okay.
because I'm assuming when you say you have a Microsoft account, you're using what, like an Office 365 application?
Yeah, I have an enterprise account where I have a lot of the back end and so forth tied to that, and then I use the Copilot Studio and stuff like that for apps and things like
And
that.
is that on your phone or is that on the laptop?
I have some of it. Some of the stuff is on my laptop, like I can't, and some of it's on the phone, so I can sort of, if I'm out, I can sort of work on something or pull up some of that stuff to work with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just challenge you, if we spent the time, if you use the time for the migration consult, by the end of that consult, you will learn that you can do all those things from these new tools.
Yes.
Especially because most of Microsoft stuff is software as a service these days. So long as you have access to a browser, you can access their tools and all of their stuff. There's something also called Wine, which is essentially a Windows emulator. So for a lot of Microsoft applications .exe files, you can actually
Yes.
run those on a Linux laptop.
Yes.
And an Android app for what you're trying to do, you can still use the Android app on the device. We can just teach you on how to do that safely.
Oh,
So yeah.
okay, because I do use Linux and Windows, but I don't do a lot of it in Linux because I mean, for some things it's just innately easier to do, and the time like the time frame. Like I was telling you before, I'm setting up a website and setting up the back end, and I've been having a lot of problems with it because things don't seem to want to work the way that they are. And so I need to do things in like the fastest way possible, and then I mean, it's gonna take some time to set some of this stuff up. And I don't know what it will all take to do all the stuff that I'm doing here, and I might not be able to do all of it. I mean, this is something that I have to kind of figure out. I'm not the phone tech guy. I'm the guy that builds stuff on the back end, but I don't do the phone stuff.
Well, I would just encourage you and anyone listening right now. I can just guarantee you that if you just spent a dedicated, we do these free 30-minute consult calls, and you came to that call and said, here's all the things that I need to get done. How can I do this in this new paradigm? We will literally coach you through and handhold you through that process. So you can walk away from that being like, oh, this is going to be way easier than I thought. And then you can just start doing it. And maybe it won't take you like minutes. Maybe it'll take you an hour or two to kind of figure it out. But
Mm.
that's so worth it. It's going to be so worth it for you to remove this burden off of your shoulders and be able to say, like, I'm done using the tools of the enemy all day, every day that I know is an enemy that is trying to attack me and fight me. So I get the anxiety. Like, everyone has this anxiety because you're so used to doing the thing the way you're used to doing it. But I promise you, man, I promise you, if you just block the time, schedule the consult, we can get you off
Uh,
of that crap.
well, I did want to get some of the stuff set up as it is now because I was going to use that, but I'll go and do that to see about getting the Microsoft stuff to see if I can get that set up on there to make that easier. I don't have a problem doing that. Like, I mean,
And don't feel like you have to do this alone. Like, you don't have to do this alone, man. You don't have to figure this out all by yourself. This is like me trying to do home plumbing projects. Like, I'm not a plumber. I Every now and again I'll get super frustrated and I'll just like try to figure it out myself until something goes horrifically wrong, or I spend 2 days trying to solve a problem and I've been back and forth to the hardware store God knows how many times. And then I'm like, you know what? I just need to call my buddy who's a plumber, and I call him and he's like, "Yo, idiot. All you need is this one tool and it solves the problem. This is a 10-minute fix, not a 2-day fix." And I'm like, I should have just called you. So just know that you don't have to try to figure this out on your own. You have a whole team of people that can support you, and we want to support you. We want to get you off of their crap and onto your own sovereign solution.
all right then, I'll make the appointment to do the stuff for the Microsoft because that's a big thing for me because like I mean like for me to I a lot of the times like figuring out my stuff myself, but then also the time that I have, it makes more sense for me to just go ahead and call somebody, right?
Yeah,
That's
and this is the big reason why, right? We have no more excuses, folks. You have every excuse that you can possibly think of as to why you can't do this doesn't, like, that's only in your mind. It's not practical reality. We have so much experience at this point. We have, like, between all the people on our team, we have close to 50 years worth of experience helping people do these migrations. We've run through every single problem set you can think of. You don't need to go this alone. There's no excuse on the planet you can think of as to why you can't do this. You just need to make the decision and say, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to eat the junk food. I'm not going to continue to use the digital poison. I'm going to move forward.
yeah, and because and I, the conversation talked about how they sandbox a lot of things and they restrict the information that goes anywhere on the phone, which is good. Um, and so forth. So yeah, I think that I'll go ahead and do that because I want to get rid of some of this other stuff because I don't like the invasiveness that they have on the phone. And it was just out of convenience and the timing and so forth. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of work and not getting enough sleep, but I'll go ahead and make that to go ahead and get that other stuff done. So if I can use that on that and get more functionality out of that, then I don't have to rely on the other one. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to like suck it up and have two phones until I can go ahead and get a virtual sim set up so that I can have both of the numbers on the same phone, right? And I'd have to get that.
We can coach you through that too. That's not super complicated.
Okay, then. Good.
We have a whole guide on how to do that, or you could just talk to us, and I can be like, "Go boom, 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 you're done."
Yeah, because normally when I think my sister did it, she had to call the carrier or whatever, but just to get that ported over. So I'll just have to do that. Yeah, no, I'm not not going to argue. So yeah, so some of the things that are going. What else are some of the things that you do other than just the phones? You do the laptops and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most fun things that we're working on right now is we're working on rolling out here, hopefully next month. It'll probably end up being August or September, but a product called Ghost Home. So take your home automation tools, like imagine Alexa, right? Like hopefully you don't have Alexa in your home.
Mm-mm.
Pray you don't have Alexa in your home. Good. But you know what Alexa is, right? It's a thing that you can talk to in your house, and you can say, Alexa, lock the front door. Or, Alexa, are there any windows open? Or you can talk to it and it can give you feedback. With Alexa right now, all of that data feeds to Amazon. So Amazon's listening to everything going on in your home, and it's giving you feedback, and it's constantly tracking and monitoring everything happening in your home. What we're working on is a product that's based on an open source project called Home Assistant. And anyone listening can literally just go to homeassistant.com, and you can see all these cool products that allow you to have a home automation tool in your house that you own, that you control, that's not connected to the outside world. Most people have heard of something called SimpliSafe. It's like a home security system, similar type of concept. But SimpliSafe takes all of that information and feeds it to their servers in their data center that they manage and control and share and sell data and sell information. So with the product that we're rolling out, Ghost Home, we're taking all of these home automation, home security tools, and we're making it so that you control them, you own them. That data and information stays in your home unless you specifically say, nope, I want this to sit and live somewhere else on maybe a server that you manage or control elsewhere, living elsewhere. And on top of that, we're adding a local LLM that has all kinds of valuable information, so that if for whatever reason you're not connected to the internet, but you still want to have access to and use like Claude or use ChatGPT and have answers at your fingertips, you can still get those answers. So imagine
where is that going to be set up in? Like you said, the local LLM, the AI.
It's going to be sitting on a box in your home.
Okay, so you can ask it questions for it to get what you need to get done.
Correct. So just as Iron Man had Jarvis,
yes,
helped manage his environment and help keep him safe, Ghost Home is going to serve that same type of purpose. So you can talk to it, it will talk back to you, and it's simply going to serve you. It is a tool, it is a program. We're being led down a path through the propaganda that the technology and our government and all these industries are pushing out, of thinking of technology as this like hybrid human type of thing that has a soul or whatever, this transhumanist agenda. It's nonsense. It's literally just a program. That's all it is. It is a program. And you can run algorithms against it, and you can program the program to act and react and respond in certain ways. And so if we start viewing this thing as just a program, we can program this tool, which is no different than, a server or a laptop or you running, Google Maps. It is a program that can serve you. And when you design it to be private and secure and to serve you, it can serve that function. It can serve that function. But that's not how it's been designed. It's been designed as this exfiltration of your own data device where it's
Yes.
constantly learning and pulling everything it can from you and then feeding it to these companies that are using that information to come after us at the end of the day.
Yes. The the AI issue, that's something that I've been talking to people about, and I think that what you're doing here, this is a good idea. People should have their own AI set up in their own on their own servers or their own computer or whatever if you can do that, because it's better to have something that you control than anything else. Because I mean, when you're using, for example, you get on a chat GPT, it learns from every other person that's using it, and a lot of people are using it for the wrong things, and it's going to lie to you a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And so garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. And the same concept with Ghost Home is there are very smart geeks who care about their privacy and security who already have these tools deployed in their homes. They already use them every day. But it took them a bunch of programming. It took them a bunch of time to get it set up and configured, tweaking it. And just like with Graphene OS, we train people on how to use Graphene OS. It's a tool. It's an operating system. You can go to our how-to guide. We would rather, train people on how to fish versus just give them the fish. But we realize so many people don't know how to do these things. So all we're doing is taking the tech and the knowledge base that really smart geeks who want to be private, secure, and sovereign with their data are doing and packaging it together and making it accessible to everyday people. So we're just taking the things that are already out there and packaging it together and putting it in as many people's hands as possible so that we can have more users and we can grow the sovereign tech ecosystem, which is what people want. The vast majority of people, when you start asking them and walking them through what's happening, they're like, I don't need my car to be feeding the manufacturer and the insurance company, what I'm doing all the time when I'm in my car. That makes no sense. So they're trying to figure out how they can decouple and pull their cars offline so they can't just be turned off remotely. They're trying to figure out how to do this with crypto. I mean, it's a big thing with crypto. We need sovereign money, right? Sovereign money. And yet those crypto folks are still using their Google Android phones, and they're still using Microsoft Windows and their MacBooks. So all these things that people care about, we're just trying to bring into the technology domain and make it so that people are like, it is convenient. So you're not worried about the convenience factor of all the things you might be losing because it's there, it's accessible. But part of the reason why Apple and Google and Microsoft are so convenient is because they've spent trillions of dollars for decades making it that convenient and hiring the smartest people on the planet to run sociology experiments with people to figure out how to do that. So the more users we have and the more people leveraging these tools, the more convenient we can make it, and the more convenient we can make the exfiltration, literally the software tools, so that you can pull your data out of Google, out of Microsoft, out of Apple, and get it set up on your own sovereign tech platform and stack and run it yourself.
So I just had a question. You talked about, for example, the computers and so forth. What happens when somebody I was talking about myself that runs a Microsoft business account and so forth? How would be affected by running it on one of the laptops? Can you make that more secure? What can you do?
So, I mean, most of your Microsoft stuff is via the browser, right? You're using Office 365.
Yeah, or apps. Yeah.
Right, and the different applications through your browser, though, right? Like in even something like Windows or I'm sorry, not Windows, like Microsoft Word and Microsoft Spreadsheet and Excel and whatnot.
Yes.
So there's something called LibreOffice. Have you heard of LibreOffice?
Yeah, I have. Yes, I use them both actually.
Okay, so LibreOffice has existed at this point for close to 17 years, 18 years at this point, like a long time. It can do all the things that you're doing. So there are alternative platforms. One's called Nextcloud. Have you heard of Nextcloud?
I've heard it before, but I haven't used it.
So Nextcloud is the Office 365 alternative. It allows you to share your contacts, share your calendar, have internal chat. It allows you to have email management like Outlook. It allows you to have project management. It allows you to do video conferencing with your team, it does all the things that Office 365 does, but it's not controlled and run by Microsoft. It is a open source platform, and you can have that platform living on a server either that you control and you own, or you can have it hosted with a business that's run and operated by constitutional Christ-loving patriots.
Does it
right?
does it have like the same type of capabilities like they have with like how you'll have the Microsoft Azure and you can be able to basically run everything from the back end and then set your security parameters and all that sort of stuff? Do they have something comparable to that?
Yes. Yep. So all the things are there, man. It just takes most IT people. They'll come into a project and someone will say, well, can I do this open source, or can I use Linux, or can I use whatever? And their immediate knee-jerk reaction is to say no. Not because it's not possible. It's only because they haven't had experience doing it and they don't know how. And geeks are they will always want to be right. They never want to acknowledge or admit when they don't know something. And so their knee jerk is like, no, it can't be done, or it's too complicated, or it's too difficult. And maybe 10 years ago, that was the case. Even 5 years ago, that was the case. That is not the case now. It is simply not. So when we work with companies and small businesses and they go to their IT people and the business owners all on board, they're like, I'm done with using Microsoft. I'm done with using Google and Apple. And they're like, but I have to talk to my IT guy. And they go to their IT guy, and their IT guy's like, no, that's too complicated. You won't like it. It's not as user friendly. That's only because that person doesn't have experience using the tool. And if they start using it, they're like, holy smokes, this is way easier than I thought it was going to be. Things have evolved a lot over the last 5 years.
It's more about whether or not the thing can be do the things that I want. That's the most important thing. Can it do what I want? Because I've had to switch things from one thing to another, and it's just happened. It's like, does it do what I need? And that's what's most important, because that's one thing that's kept me on using the Microsoft stuff, because I haven't found an equivalent, and I haven't sit down and said I had a lot of time to look, because I mean, like, I've been rolling out this sort of grassroots stuff, which I mean is just insane amounts of time, and I'm only one man. But if I could find something that's equivalent and get that set up, I have no problem with it. What's the cost factor on this anyway?
Dale, all you got to do, man, is literally document. Just do the audit. Just document all of the tools and applications you're using. Send that to us, and we will reply back to you with all the equivalents that are out there. And you're paying Microsoft probably a monthly recurring fee for all the things
Yes.
that you're using. And what if you didn't have to pay license fees for all these different things? Maybe you'd pay a hosting fee, because the data, unless you want it sitting on a server in your home or somewhere that you control and manage, you might pay a hosting fee for some of this stuff, but it's going to be a lot less, drastically less than what you're paying now for all the licensing fees and everything on top of it.
Yeah, I don't like that recurring cost. It's insane. It's one of the biggest things, because everything it's more money, it's more money, it's more money. And then when you're trying to implement it, it doesn't always work the way that it is, right? And like we were talking offline, I was trying to set up some stuff, like set up the back end to run a website, and it was just like the dumbest things. And I just, yeah, for the money I pay for it, it should work better. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So no,
and you don't have to do this by yourself. Like, this is such an important piece. So many people feel alone in this. You're not alone. There are millions of people right now on the planet going through all of this right now. And they are hungry, wanting to educate, just like me telling you, wanting to educate, wanting to train, wanting you to know that there's a community of people that can support you through this process.
Okay, because I mean, at the end of the day, I didn't realize that you guys would do stuff like that for like all the other stuff. So I'll definitely ask about that, because I don't want to pay money for stuff I don't need to, when I'm not getting it to work the way they want. Like, it'd be different
Right.
if you were getting it as advertised, but when I have to sit there and fight over stupid things like that shouldn't be this difficult, it's a problem, right? Because when I have other time, like the time that I have, like most of my time, I want to help people and obviously then make money. But when I have to spend more time doing nonsense, fixing things, that for me, I can't stand, because I'm not really an IT guy. I do it because it's necessary, and I'm not going to sit down and say I'm an expert by any means. I'm better than the average person, but that's about it.
Well, that's what we're here for, man. I mean, we literally serve as like a geek squad for sovereign technology. I used to call myself, an IT arms dealer, and that's basically what I am, an IT arms dealer for sovereign technology solutions. So whether you just need a consultant for an hour on a project, or you're like going to war and you need the whole kit and caboodle, I've got everything I can bring to bear. It may not be me and my company, but I have the partners that I've vetted, that I've broken bread with, that I know are in the same fight on the same team, that we can bring in to help support.
All right, awesome. So we're going to stop and have a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Tario, co-founder of Mark37.com. I spent my career in Silicon Valley working for high-tech infrastructure companies, and I've witnessed firsthand the surveillance apparatus they've built. Most of you already know we're in a digital war right now, but are you really aware that we're trying to fight this war with the weapons and tools of the enemy? That Android or iPhone in your pocket, that MacBook or Windows laptop, it's a tracking device feeding everything you say and do to companies that want you under their control or eliminated entirely. Every text, call, location, even how long you pause on a post, they track it all and use complex algorithms to then use this data to manipulate your behavior. If you knew someone hacked your devices and was selling your data without your consent, you'd be furious and terrified. So why are you okay with these companies doing this to you right now? Here's what they don't want you to know. There is another way. At Mark37.com, we offer phones, laptops, tablets, and even basic flip phones, all running systems big tech can't access unless you explicitly give them access. And what's even better is you also don't need to sacrifice productivity. I'm one of thousands of geeks mobilized across this country, building tools and providing education and support to help you live anonymously online before they enforce digital ID. Go to mark37.com. Sign up for a free 30-minute digital privacy consultation. Join hundreds of thousands who have decided to stop feeding their data to companies actively working to enslave us. Take back your communications. Take back your data. And may God bless you on your journey.
So now I can get you to talk about that.
I like that commercial. We have some updated ones I need to get you, but that's a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, if people want to go out and check that out, like, get yourself a phone, get on it. Don't be as slow as I am, but go a little faster.
Sign up for a consultation. Don't try to do this yourself. If you have questions, thoughts, anxiety, literally just call us. And the key is I'm the only company right now. We are the only business that I know of right now that is in the marketplace that is doing these types of consultations for free. And we don't let someone get off the phone without asking them how we can pray for them, and if they're in the Word every day, and if they're not, can we send them a Bible? Like, you tell me another business that's doing that right now.
Nobody at all. And I think that's a good thing. Yes. If you want to get a phone, use the promo code Karis and you'll get a 5% discount. Right. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think a lot of it needs to be, people need to realize that things can be accessible. And I think that people need to educate themselves a little bit more on what needs to be done. I didn't realize about the amount of functionality, like other functionality, to replace some of the things they had, like the Microsoft stuff. That's a big thing for me, because that's one of the things that kept me in that situation. Because from what I knew, I didn't see the same type of functionality like I do. And the one thing with Livery, the only thing is do they have a decent developer mode where you can actually write in macros? Because I know for the Excel, like their sheets, they are not like they're not as good as Microsoft. They're not for Excel. Your equivalent.
Bro, you know just as well as I how
Mhm.
quickly technology advances and has been
Yes.
advancing over the last couple months, let alone years,
Yeah.
let alone weeks
Yes.
at this point, right? So there are tools, programming tools that are available today that you can literally just type in, here's what I'm trying to accomplish, here's what
Yes.
I've done so far, and it will help you build out whatever it is that you're needing to build out.
Yeah.
So that's a amazing thing for those who are using these tools for good, but it's
Yes.
also a terrifying thing for the psychopaths that are using these tools for not good, right?
Yes.
But we may as well use these things for our own benefit so that they can serve us and we can build and create things much faster, which is part of the reason why these tools have gotten so much better over the last couple of years alone, is because we don't need the same tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars worth of capital to hire developers all over the world to run these programs or build these programs, when we can literally spend a couple hours in front of a programming tool that's going to coach and help you build the most efficient software available to do exactly what it is that you're trying to do.
All right. Well, I'll take a look because I mean, I'll go and check it out. Like I haven't looked at that. I just updated the livery today. I use it the Office Writer all the time because I like it much better than Word because of the way that you can put the fields in and so forth and change it throughout the document. I like that aspect way better. But the Excel one is the one that was a little bit. I didn't find it as good, but I'll go and check it out.
I promise you, I use it. I'm in it. I've been using it for years. It does everything that Excel used to do. It does everything that Microsoft Writer or Microsoft Word does. It does all the things, man. Is it going to be like maybe just a little bit different? Like probably just a little bit different. But what are you giving up in return? Like the marginal bit of uh, convenience or like what you were used to that's going to be different is worth it for getting these companies out of your life and not literally spying on everything that you're doing.
Yes, the biggest issue that I had before was the ability to do the engineering stuff because it when I first started to use Livery, it was not even close to where Excel was for this. Like for example, if I had to do, I mean, the statistical analysis or doing any of the type of calculations and making large spreadsheets where I'm calculating, like, for example, you want to size an HVAC system or something like that, and you're making a spreadsheet. I wasn't able to get the same functionality out of that. And that's the biggest issue is just if I can do that, I don't care because I use Liberty anyway. So I understand the UI. So if I can do the same things as I'm doing there in Liberty, then why not? Because it's not a big deal for me to use something I already know how to use.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
So at this point, you've got no more excuses, bro. You've got no more excuses. But if you've got more, let's go. Keep feeding me excuses and I'll keep knocking them down. Let's go. Feed me some more. Why else? Why else not?
No, it's just that a lot of it is just, I mean, time. That's all it is. That's really the time that I've been taking. My head's been down too much and focus on getting stuff done. But I mean, I can go ahead and make some time to do some of this stuff to figure that out and use the AI to go and put that in there because
I honestly just don't understand, Dale. Like how for you and for others, because I'm not just pointing at you. I'm just
yes.
literally just trying to understand how this isn't a priority for people. We know that these companies are diametrically, like exponentially more responsible for what is happening in the world today by controlling the media, by exfiltrating our information, using this to figure out how, from a sociological perspective, we can herd the sheep into doing all the things that we want them to be doing. And yet, like, you're more willing to like make a marginal change over here. Like, I'll stop watching Netflix because Netflix is, an evil, like, I'm going to stop doing that, or I'm going to stop eating Ben and Jerry's because the owners of Ben and Jerry's are like crazy woke leftists, right? Like people will do that because it's just so stupid simple for you to be like, well, I'm just not going to turn this channel on, or I'm going to change the ice cream that I eat. Versus like, well, maybe you should stop eating ice cream altogether. And people are like, well, no, well, I don't know that, right? Like, and if you're talking to someone who's diabetic, who's like dying, and you're like, maybe you should stop eating the ice cream. And they're like, well, can't you just give me the ice cream that I can still eat that tastes like ice cream, but like that won't kill me?
Uh,
And we're like,
yes, I get it. I get what you're saying. And the issue with me isn't the fact that I don't want to do anything. The issue is that the priority of what I'm doing and what I'm dealing with at the time, I don't always get to everything I want to do, right? Because like I said, I was working on the grassroots level, helping a lot of people who have like lost their kids and all these kinds of things, and trying to get that kind of stuff, getting stuff to help people that are stuck in jail because they've been put in there in the family court and so forth. And so I get distracted, and I'm not going to lie. That's like my biggest issue.
That's why we're going to fly up there, bro. Work with Archer. We're going to fly up there, and I'm going to pin you down in a room for, an hour or two, and we're going to get this done. Because like we need people like you who are on the front lines of this war. Stop using the tools of the enemy to fight the enemy. You're feeding them all of the information.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Like when I sit down and think about when I'm doing the work that I'm doing, it's like I can take about this time, like because when you're dealing with people, it's different because it's harder to justify taking away time when you're like, okay, this person is going to be in a bad situation, their kid's in a bad situation, I need to get this done to help them, then I can get to this next thing. And this is a problem that I'm having because it's like everything comes at a cost. Yes, do I want to have this? Do I need this? Yes. But then also at the end of the day, do they need this? And there's somebody's child in a bad situation? Yes. And this is where, I mean, this is why I only sleep 3 or 4 hours a night, right? That's like, I mean, I'm pretty much doing something every time. And I'm not saying that I can't do this. I'm just like, I need to prioritize the time and do it as efficiently as possible. That's my issue. That's all it is. Right?
Well, we appreciate you and we love you, Dale, and we want to make this as simple and painless as possible for you. So if you can block an hour of your time or even 30 minutes of your time, it can get you exponentially further.
I will.
To anybody listening right now.
I will. I will send the email with the list of the stuff because I would like to get that done. And if I can get help getting that set up, that would be great because it will make life easier, right? Like I'm not gonna argue because like at the end of the day, most of the time right now, I don't even use my phone other than for phone calls or my daughter talking to me or somebody talking to me because I don't have time to do anything else other than that because I want to get people help because I can't stand what's going on. I want these people who did this in prison. That is number one priority because they need to go to jail for what they've done. And then after that, yes.
Amen. Well, I can tell you our mutual friend Caleb Collier, who got us connected.
Yes.
Marine. He's one of the least tech savvy people on the planet. And he's now fully up and running. So if Caleb can do it, I promise you, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Like I sit down and say it's not that difficult to use and so forth. Just take the time to do it and that's really it.
And you actually hit on a great point, which is that you're only using your phone for texting and for phone calls. Then why do you really need the most technologically sophisticated and advanced device ever created in your pocket all day, every day? For most people, you don't need a smartphone. You can use a basic dumb phone or even a flip phone to accomplish all those things and do everything else that you think you need to be doing from your phone, from your laptop, and maybe be present with people around you when you're out in public instead of looking at this thing all the time. Or if you're like, well, I also need to use my phone, not just for phone calls and texts, but also for maps. Like I need to navigate because, you've forgotten how to navigate around the world that you live in, or you're going somewhere, like understandable, get a Garmin GPS for your car that lives in your car. It's also mobile. So you can like take it out of one car and put it in another car if you have to do that. Like that alone for most people solves all the things. They don't need a smartphone that's going to be tracking, monitoring everything that they're doing all the time. They just need a basic dumb phone and a Garmin GPS, and then all the other things that they think they should be doing from their phone, the gaming applications, the social media apps, whatever it is, they can keep it on their laptop. And I don't know if we talked about this last time we talked, but Lent was a couple months ago. It was in April for a lot of Christians who celebrate Lent.
Yes.
Most of the people that I know went 40 days and they said, I'm going to give up social media. I'm going to give up content and looking at the news all the time. They came out of those 40 days and they said, that was the most amazing experience. I feel so much healthier. I feel so much better. And I followed that up with, great. So are you going to stop doing all those things? And they said, no, I instantly went right back to doing it. I'm like, why? You just told me all the benefits of leaving that part of your life behind, and yet you're going to go right back to it. So I think people just need to, like, these tools have been designed to be the most addictive things ever. You need to accept that, understand that, and walk away from that. So we're one of the few technology companies on the planet that actually is telling people to use less technology, like use less tech. Spend more time talking to people face to face, grounding outside, doing things with other people, and less time in front of your computer doing all that crap.
So do you guys do like you talked about setting up servers and stuff? Do you guys do that kind of stuff as well? Or do you guys host any servers or anything like that?
So we at Mark 37 do not. However, our partners do. So we have a handful of different partners that do everything from like Amazon Web Services, types of equivalent, virtual servers, bare metal as a service, data center stuff, to, well, I just need like hosted WordPress, or I need, a hosted whatever, on Nextcloud. I need a hosted Nextcloud, or I need whatever it is that you need, or I need a domain name, like whatever. All that is available. We have those on our partner section of our website. But once we know what you're looking for, we can point you to the right partner to get that done.
I'm going to give you a list of stuff. I'm going to work on that list, and I'm going to give it to you because I have a long list of things that I'd like to get done. And I know a lot of people that do this, because I was going to go and help somebody set some of this stuff up. But if I can get somebody to do at least some of this, because I'd like to have something obviously that you have there, but you're going to have need for cloud services and other things like that. That would be very helpful, because the less that I have to do personally, the better, right? Like, obviously some things you want to do for yourself, but there's just not enough time to do everything. So I'll definitely get you that list to go over and get some of that stuff done, because I would like to, I would like to know, that shouldn't have been on, but whatever. I would like to know where I could go ahead and get some of these things, because I don't have the time to figure it out all myself. And so I will go to the experts, and it'll be a long list, but I'll get you some.
I hope it is. We will help. I promise.
So what are all, so you guys just do all the technology side, right? So you do the laptops, you do the like you're saying, the home sort of thing that replaces Alexa. Would you guys do desktops or anything like that, or no?
So we can do custom orders for people. So if there's a device that you're looking for that we don't have on the website, we can do custom orders. We can load it. We can configure it for you. It's just going to be a custom order, which is fine. There's a form you can find on our website where you can fill it out and tell us what it is, the specs of what it is that you're looking for. Or if you don't really know, but you want to talk to someone and walk through what that might be, that's what that consultation is for. It's a free 30-minute consultation. But we also do Faraday bags, and we do all kinds of other interesting, fun tech that will help you be more sovereign with your data.
So if you have say somebody goes and they're going to build a desktop, and then they want to get it sent over. A lot of people do that these days. So what do? Build a desktop, send it to you, or you guys build a desktop, load it up, and then send it back? how does that work?
Potentially. I mean, we even do things where people send us their desktop or their laptop and we load Linux on it and we configure it for them based on what they're trying to accomplish, and we send it back to them. So that's even an option, because a lot of people have a lot of just spare laptops laying around their house that they want to just send us so that we can load it and then they can play around with it, get comfortable with it before they use their primary for that. So that's an option as well. But yeah, I mean, what's also cool, this is a fun fact, more people are actually asking for Linux to be installed on their laptops when they're buying new laptops online than Windows.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome. So you can literally go on most websites at this point, buy any PC, an HP, a Dell, an ASIC, whatever it might be. And in the checkout process, you get to choose what operating system you want. And you can choose a Linux-based operating system. So you don't even need to use us. You don't even need to work with us to that extent. But if you want something that's pre-configured, that's ready to rock, that's affordable, so most of the stuff that we sell these days is like open box, or it is mint condition refurbished, because we found that like mint condition refurbished devices do everything that a brand new device can do for a fraction of the cost. And you don't need the new thing when the thing 4 years ago is still amazing for the vast majority of use cases. So unless you're doing some kind of like high-end AI type of work, or you're doing some kind of gaming, like some of the new games that are coming out that won't work on devices from 4 or 5 years ago, like 99% of users are fine using a device from 3-4 years ago that has very few battery cycles used on it, and it just works.
Yeah. This is one other question. This came up, like, for example, like engineering software, right? Like, what would your solution be for that? Because that's generally, can't even run those on Macs.
I don't know off the top of my head, Dale, because I'm not an engineer, but give me a little bit of time to ask around or just do a little bit of research to my team that's fielding these questions on a regular basis, and I'll get you the answers.
Yes, because things like, for example, like the Autodesk suite, or people use SolidWorks, but I do more of the Autodesk stuff like Revit and Inventor and things like that. What would they do with that? Because these things are very like intensive. Like this is why I pretty much got the Windows stuff, because of running those, because I didn't have any options, and it on Linux, absolutely not. Like I could, I guess, set up a server, but put like the Windows in like a sandbox, but I don't have, like, I mean, that's too time intensive for me right now.
Yeah. Well, to that end, that is something that we have done for certain customers who, for whatever reason, there's a certain application that they just have to use. So accounting software, this is a case study that I just know off the top of my head. Quicken, or anyway, there's some of the accounting software that if you don't want to use their software as a service version, and you're using like a 2005 version of Quicken that you're just so comfortable with, and you refuse to use anything other than that, and there's only a .exe, which is basically a Windows version of that you use, you can set up a VM, or like a virtual environment on your Linux box that just runs that app. So you spin it up, you use it, and then you spin it, you take that file and you do whatever you need to do it, and then you spin it down. And the key is, with a lot of these tools, is if you're going to use like a Windows machine to use a certain application, just don't let that Windows machine talk to your Wi-Fi. Don't let it talk to the internet. So if you're using an application that doesn't require access to the internet and isn't going to be updating the operating system and updating everything on it, fine. So some people will use a Linux box for their day-to-day that does access the internet. And then if they have to, they have a separate machine that just runs Windows that's not connected to the internet at all.
Yeah, that's the worst part about some of the engineering software. Like, for example, like things like Revit that are cloud based. A lot of it, that you don't run everything on your computer. They get you that way, and it's like, if you want to work, you have to use these programs. This is because they don't have anything equivalent to something like that for some applications, right? Like there's massive companies that have competing software, but they don't have anything smaller that is like more independent and controlled that they have for equivalents like that, because these guys spent like billions of dollars over years developing them and making sure that nobody else got anywhere near what they were doing. So.
And that's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that if it is software as a service, then all you need is a browser and you can access it. And your data is accessible. You can use the program. The bad thing is that you need internet access to be able to use that software. Like, I wish and I hope that we eventually evolve into a paradigm where like video games or like software is something that you can now own and have it installed on your box so that it's yours. You don't need the internet in order to access the data, to access the tool. You know, I play video games with my kids, and it's like every video game right now requires that you have internet access. And if you don't have internet access, it just doesn't work. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. I remember back in the day, I had like a gajillion Nintendo and Sega games that I didn't need any internet. I had zero internet access.
You plugged the cartridge in and you were good.
Yeah. So I think we just need to get back to that. We've been, society, and this is by design. They've brought about this paradigm where we feel like we all need access all the time for all the things when we don't. We just don't.
No, and honestly, if I didn't have to work and do stuff on the internet, I would not be on it very much. I can't stand, like, for me, I liked being outside. And before I got into engineering as a heavy duty mechanic, I would be outside working and stuff. I can't stand sitting down all the time. I can't. So if I had my option, I would be away from this. But I mean, this is what I have to do. So I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I get it. And I don't like how everything is now subscription based, where you used to pay for it, own it outright, and now they just want you to subscribe and just pay monthly forever. Like that kind of stuff. I don't like that. Not at all.
Yep.
So in closing, what do you want to say to people?
I think I've already said all the things. Well, one of the key things I want to say is faith is a verb. We need to take action. We need to get off our butts. If you're just sitting on the sidelines right now, bitching and complaining about things, then you're exactly where the devil wants you. You're not on the front lines of the war. If you're not being persecuted for your faith and for what you're doing, for your beliefs right now, you're probably not doing something right. And if you're in the Word every day, that's exactly what Christ told us was going to happen for the remnant few in the world. And we just have to realize that our faith should not be lived in the world, and then we retreat to go to church on Sunday, and then we go back to living in the world. We need to live in our faith all day, every day, and retreat to get into the matrix, to get done what we need to get done in the matrix, and then get out and go back to our families, go back to our culture, go back to our faith, and living our faith on a day-to-day basis. That's absolutely key. So for me and our business, it's just one subset of all the things like the homesteading and the homeschooling, and all of that is just a piece. The technology is a piece. So we can't be doing a couple of these things and just ignore the tech piece. At least if it's on your radar that like, yes, I'm going to get to it, good. But we can't be, homeschooling and homesteading and then still consuming all the beast technology and using it all day, every day, and feeding our money to these companies that are literally run by Luciferian psychopaths that are trying to kill us and think that we're doing God's divine will, when I hate to break it to you, we're just making it harder for people like me and you and everyone else that's on the front lines right now, when we're feeding all of our data and all of our comms literally to the people that we say that we're fighting against.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and I agree. Something needs to change. And I mean, it needs to change fairly quickly. I mean, I'll close here with a prayer, and thank you guys all for coming. You can just hang out for a minute after we're done here.
Of course.
All right. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your love, grace, and mercy. We thank you for the hope that you have given us and allowing us to be here in this time. And Lord, help us that we would come together to rebuild our families, our churches, our community, our nation. And Lord, we thank you for the work that Sean and others like him are doing, and everybody else who's standing up to do something to protect the people and further the word. And your message is my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you guys all for coming, and thanks for watching.